In my last video, I said that humans evolved to be hunters. Well, that's not exactly true for all of us. Instead, some became parasites, tapeworms that trick their host into swallowing them whole. The real estate agent typically doesn't fill you with knee-jerk resentment like the parking inspector does. No, their job requires approachability in the form of an uncanny smile devoid of all emotion. It's a smile that says, "I hope you enjoy FOMO-induced panic buying, because I'm about to emotionally manipulate you into taking out a 30-year mortgage." Now, admittedly, many of us have likely had to deal with real estate agents at some point, if we've ever hoped to escape the stranglehold of landlords. Don't worry, those guys will get their turn in a future video. Getting back to real estate agents though, do we really need a human being to do this job? No, and that's because they don't. I'm convinced that real estate agents are all composed of a nest of weasels puppeteering a human skin from the inside. It would at least explain why they twitch when you ask them, "So what's the body corporate fee on this unit?" As if you just asked them to share their browser history. We've all looked at magicians at children's parties and felt sympathy over how little they likely earn. The problem is, some of them were clever enough to know that fooling adults is where the real money is at. As Shakespeare once said, all the world's a stage. Nowhere is this more obvious than the property inspection, when agents will try to tell you that the smell of black mold is actually just the aroma of local flora. Great! So I'm choosing between either a fungal infection or thunderstorm hay fever. Yippee! Where we might see a dilapidated shoebox smelling of regret, the real estate agent instead sees, as they would say, rustic charm or vintage character. Exactly what vintage are we talking here though? Is it the same kind as the cheese that's growing a similar shade of mold? This leads me into my next point, real estate lingo. What you need to remember is that words often have a very different meaning in their language, like Orwellian newspeak for swindlers, where the subtext is always, lower your expectations. Cozy? That's just another way of saying claustrophobic. Low maintenance? No need to maintain what never worked in the first place. Up and coming area? Well, that just means that crime is now only a fortnightly event in this neighbourhood. Historic? That probably means asbestos. Or rats. Character? That just means it's haunted. If you listen really closely, you can still hear the pre-divorce arguments the last tenants had. Honestly, some of these places don't need a real estate agent, they need a priest, in a hazmat suit. It takes a particularly humorless person to go into real estate. The kind who can say, "I think this 2-bed concrete box is worth 1.3 million, without bursting out laughing. They save that for after they've closed the deal. The fake smile is just the tip of the iceberg though. Seriously, no one is that excited about a broom closet. Except maybe a family who just had an unwanted nephew dumped on their doorstep. The slightest hint of interest is like catnip to these people. "Oh, you like it? Best move fast, we've already received offers." Translation? We've had 0 offers, I just need this commission to pay off my 3rd BMW. And then there's the auction. Honestly, you'd think you were bidding for a lifeboat off the Titanic. 800,000 going twice, this one's a steal, ladies and gentlemen, they'll say, making you feel like it'll be next year before they slap that paper down. Ugh, get on with it already. Then there's the real estate agent's less impressive but equally deplorable cousin, the rental agent. Gatekeepers have showers in the kitchen, carpets stained with sadness, and toilets that flush with all the force of a death rattle. Renting is basically a front row subscription to Neglect, the musical. All of this for $600 a week, so long as you provide your blood type, employment payslips, 38 references, and a handwritten essay on why you're a good tenant. And God forbid you have a pet. That's basically the equivalent of ticking the yes box on the "do you have a criminal record" question. Inspecting a rental property is like a job interview for a role you're vastly overqualified for. Yes, I've lived in a house before. Yes, I know how to lock a door. Honestly, no one leaves the business of real estate without coughing up their pound of flesh. Even if you're a seller, you've still got to deal with the commission they take at the end. A few grand for unlocking a door and answering questions you could just as easily have printed on an FAQ sheet, or simply answered yourself. So, why are real estate agents a thing? Because the property market is a cartel, and our society thrives off creating a class of middlemen to siphon money off at every turn. That, and because someone looked at a crumbling shanty and thought, I could flip this for $500,000 with just a smile and some lemon-scented candles. If this message has resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You'll be helping to fund the inevitable lawsuit this channel is sure to incur. If you or someone you know has been gaslit by a property listing that claimed that a lemon-painted orange was indeed an orange, or you've been led into a bedroom that looked suspiciously like a laundry, go ahead and leave a comment below. That, or feel free to suggest topics for future videos. Ta-ta for now, and thanks for watching.